This is a different, new, and probably difficult subject for me going on, that when it comes to certain types of arguments or debates, I don't particularly like to join within them. Those are reindeer games that this Rudolph is glad to not be a part of. And the reason being is because I like things to have an ending. That's someplace I've come to recently, actually. This topic here will be the whole controversy about anti-natalism or anti-natalism. I was listening to, it was Pro-Social Future, but now it's There Is No Future. Rightfully so. I've said that, I think, last video. But he perfectly covered the topic. But there was a lot of learning, studying, and listening to the video. And I've tried listening to other people on the topic of anti-natalism. It's not easy for me to listen to it because here's the thing. It's, from what I've gathered, there's no conclusion. And let me just explain this. Okay, so what is anti-natalism? Going on what There Is No Future has said, there's a philosophical stance upon it, meaning a view to study the meaning of why people must or should not reproduce and all the reasons thereof. And I'm like, why study? What is there to study? Because that's what philosophy means. It means to study a particular subject, argument, or something, basically to its core, and figure out why someone does what they do, why they think the way they think, why something is the way it is. But it turns into, or basically is meant to be, a debate with no end. It's just like a fundamental reasoning. It's strange to me. Okay. I don't particularly like that kind of thing because it's not founded in, how can I say, conclusion. What's the next one? He says believers. Well, he didn't say this is, I wrote this as a jot down for myself, but believers on the side of anti-natalism believe it is immoral and unethical to bring new life into the world. Philosophically, we are to study and understand this position. That's the note that I wrote down going on the definition of philosophy. The whole anti-natalism rhetoric out there, the way that There Is No Future presented his video and his explanations and clarities of anti-natalism, which, I was trying to ponder, because going on what anti-natalism is, I'm like, well, why would anyone have those misconceptions of it? It has nothing to do with it. And therein gets what pissed me off, because anti-natalism is saying you shouldn't have kids. Don't bring them into the world, because this world, this is part of the philosophy you have to understand. Part of the philosophy, don't bring them into this world. This world is so horrible. Life is such a struggle. There's no point on reproduction. And you know something? I was there myself. I think I was 28, somewhere around there, 25, 29 range. And seeing how things were, seeing how people were treated, how hard it is to get a job, and then why get a job in the first place, and all this other stuff. I'm like, why would you want to bring a kid into this? And anti-natalists would be on that topic, I believe. They would be on that, like, well, yeah. Think of all the hardships and strife. Do you really want to bring a kid into this? And I was there. I was really starting to think that, but then there's that part of me that says, I need a legacy. I need to breed, man. That's where my mind was. So there was conflict until I ended my own personal debate with, okay, if the world is so messed up, if life is so hard that you have to say it's meaningless, It's unethical. It is disturbing to bring new life into a world so brutal. Then you know what? Change the fucking world. That is what you do. That is what changed me. Because I'm going to have my kid, which I did. I'm going to have another kid, maybe, I hope. And it's not about the problem of helping them make it through the world. It's about giving them the tools to change the world and instilling in them what you need for them to change the world for the positive. And that's what the whole anti-natalism thing is not about solving the problem. It's about the problem is this. And since we don't want to change it, we're not going to try to change it. We're not going to fix it. So it's good to be natalist. We are definitely going to just say, screw it, damn reproduction. Japan is doing it without even trying. Their careers are so important. Making money is so important. Not being in poverty is so important that women are just not even caring to reproduce or get married. And by the time they are well within like their 20s, they're like, I'm comfortable with this. I make a lot of money and I am not going to be bogged down with a child. Because once I'm bogged down with a child, then I can't live my life. I have to be the Susie homemaker, and they don't want that. So there you go. You're an anti-natalist? Go to Japan. No one's reproducing there. Now, I could be wrong on all of this, okay? I could be wrong on what has been presented to me. But here's the thing. In all honesty, if I'm wrong, if anti-natalism isn't about the philosophy, the understanding and study of why one should not have children in this barbaric world, and trying to figure that out and study that in loops and circles to no end, then what is it? Because I've gone through this. I went through this with a cousin of mine, and just hear this short one out. I didn't want my child, and predominantly still don't want my child around my own family because I don't agree with what they do. I don't agree with their indoctrination of things. And my cousin, my elder cousin, he says to me, "You're hurting that child. You're hurting that child by not letting her come around the family." And I asked, how? How am I hurting the child? And I didn't go to the spiel on why I would think the family would hurt the child. And I'm not going to do it here. But I asked him, how? And he said, and he had no answer. And I asked, and then he says that whatever my issues are, I need to move past them. And I asked him, how? How do I move past it? If something has hurt me, how do I move past it? What do I do to get beyond what I know will be repeated and say, this is good and this is great and I'm doing it for the right reasons, but those reasons not being me? How do I move past what's going to keep happening? He has no answer. So to say that I need to move on and have no answer is no different than saying you shouldn't have children. It's unethical. It's immoral. And you're hurting that child by bringing that child into the world. And you have no reasons on, how you make the world to the point where it's great to bring a child in. They don't want to solve it. That's my issue. I want things solved. And me and There Is No Future, we went back and forth. And he was saying that I didn't understand things, and maybe I don't. Most likely I don't, because you know something? That's been my life. And I'll let him know here, that is what set me off. When someone explains something, they go through very in-depth things, and then I answer back in my own way, because I can't just go through the whole philosophy pack and then try to disprove or anything like that. No, that's not me. I want a solution. And the whole anti-natalism thing as a philosophy, to me, is bullshit. That doesn't mean I believe that it's bullshit. To me, with my understanding right now, it's bullshit. that doesn't mean my understanding can't change. And that was the other part that got me, is he said it was a belief. There is a belief. There are believers. No, when it comes to practicality, there is no belief. Doesn't have there's not there. You have to go with what can solve this, what can literally, factually, safely move you forward. And on a very short tangent, this is how I feel about politics. You want Republicans in, but when they get in, look what happened. Now you're mad at Republicans. Okay, but you wanted Democrats. You say Democrats should have been in. So you get your Democrats sprinkled throughout history after Nixon. What has happened? Nothing. So, other than Jimmy Carter, but past that, what? Nothing. So you got what? The left versus the right versus the left, and then you get all these branches of both. See, that's philosophy, because they're both trying to find ways and divisions to argue their side. No matter how different they say they are literally more of the same. They are a clone. It's so sick. They are a clone in sheep's clothing. That's what they are. And they don't see it. I'm different than the Republicans. The Republicans are all about racism and hate, but we're different. We're the Sam group. We're the Sam party. And what we do is the exact same thing. We feel the same way, but we're just not them. So vote for us. The Democrats, we're not the Republicans, so we're cool. And then progressives has turned into, we're not the Democrats and we're for something, but we're trying to do this with the Democrats, hoping that the establishment Democrats will let us in and help us when they're only going to be against us. Wash, rinse, and repeat. There's no end. Politics will stay the same, because although you put the hope of change in there, change isn't going to happen. Change, just like in anti-natalism, it must be abrupt. It must be immediate. And anti-natalism is not about change. It is about submission. And then saying, I'm not going to join in those games. So my child will not be there. I will not have a kid. I will not put my kid in this world for all of these millions of reasons. And that, to me, I understand. And what my argument was, you don't want to have kids? Don't. That's your individual choice. That kills the whole philosophy. There's no philosophy to me. That's why there was no philosophy. It kills it. You don't want to have kids because this world is barbaric. You think it's unethical. That is your individual choice. Trying to patriot check others into your choice, trying to get believers, is like henny penny. Oh, the sky is falling. Let me get everyone else to believe it. I'm in a panic. I'm telling everyone to believe it. And then everyone blindly believes it. And then someone explains it. You've got two roads. You can accept the explanation and evidence and observe it yourself for your own validation. Or you can use the backfire effect and then just agree with henny penny and just say the sky is falling. Kill this one that goes against it. And let's move forward with telling everyone else the sky is falling. I'm just saying you need to not have a belief system when it comes to philosophy, because philosophy used to be about coming to an end. It used to be about, let's go over these things, come to a conclusion, and yet let's not forget the arguments, because we don't want to get one-sided completely. Right now, everything, debates, philosophy, is all a circle. It's a circle. It doesn't end because it just goes around and around. That's all it do. Somebody needs to cut a line in and straighten something out. You need a detour, because you're not going to come to an end, and you're going to be repeating the same arguments or finding someone online that's doing an anti-natalism or whatever political party or social commentary or whatnot belief, and say, look, they agree with me, so yes. You're not going to look for the challenge. Anything I've done, I've looked for the challenge to oppose it. And I challenge myself in my head all the time. If I think something or I'm coming to the conclusion of something, I challenge it. I just can't be one-sided. So anything that I've said up here, I'm listening. If you want to put something in a comment, I'm not up for a philosophical debate. I'm not. And the reason is because this is not, to me, it's not a debate. As I said earlier, you don't want to have any kids for your reasons, then don't. Don't. If you are someone that believes wholeheartedly that you should have all the kids that you can, okay, that's you. Do it. Just make sure you're with somebody that agrees. Because if you're trying to have all the kids and they're like, I have a limit, you got an argument. And it's not really an argument, it's this ain't going to work. That's really all it is. So don't be Henny Penny. Don't be. And try not to be so much a goosey loosey. Be what you gotta be. But don't be philosophical to the point of ruining yourself. That's one thing you should not be. And don't debate in circles. I'm just trying to help. I'm looking for help, looking for some guidance out there. I'll take it from anyone so long as you're being constructive and decent about it. I'll take your advice. I'll take your explanation. I might do a follow-up video. Who knows? But there's no need to just come up here and say, oh, you don't understand philosophy. You don't understand how to argue. You don't understand what to say or what to do and all this other stuff. Look, everything in life, sadly, is pretty much subjective. It's really not too many hardcore proven facts out there other than, you can't walk through walls. A rock thrown at you will hurt. You get hit by a bus. There's a grand chance, depending upon its speed and how you land, you will die. The sun will burn your ass up. Politicians are ruining everything for big money. I mean, those are the few things out there. I mean, and there's more. There's some other, objective facts. There are. But this here, anti-natalism, is not one of them. This is Cedric Kennedy for Comparative Reasoning. Thank you for listening.